and welcome to A Dose of Wellbeing, the Pharmacist Support Podcast. Have you ever thought about the connection between well-being and being able to give back? Whether that's giving time, skills, support, kindness, or volunteering for something we care about, giving can have a huge impact on our sense of purpose and connection. Today, we're exploring the link between financial well-being, freedom, and giving. Because when we feel more secure and confident with our money, we may also feel more able to give in the ways that matter to us. To help us unpack this, we're joined by Alan and Katie Donegan of Rebel Finance School, a free financial education course that helps people take control of their money and build a more secure future. Alan and Katie reached financial independence themselves and then used that freedom to volunteer their time, knowledge, and energy to help others. So today we'll be talking about money, purpose, giving, volunteering, and why financial well-being might be one of the most overlooked well-being tools we have. I'm your host, Melissa Cochran, Wellbeing Development Senior Manager at Pharmacist Support, the pharmacy profession's independent charity. This podcast aims to share inspiring stories, practical tips, and expert insights to support your well-being and working life in pharmacy. At Pharmacist Support, we care passionately about improving pharmacist well-being. This year, we're working on the launch of our Essential 8, Your Script for Well-being. While this contains evidence-based ways to improve your well-being in well-known areas such as exercise, nutrition, and sleep, it also explores two very powerful parts of well-being that don't always get the attention they deserve: financial well-being and giving. So thank you so much, Alan and Katie, for joining us today for such an interesting and hopefully practical conversation.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this conversation goes.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It was great having you on before. That podcast episode is really popular. So I have a feeling people are going to really like this one as well. So for anyone who hasn't heard from you before and didn't catch your last podcast, could you just give us a quick introduction to who you are and what you do?
So we are Katie and Alan Donegan. We retired early and then we thought, what are we going to do with our time? And we looked around and people were in a pickle with their money and we were good with money. So we thought we'd just put a free course online and help people. And 135 people came to that first course. Then it started to expand. People heard the course was good. And we tried to put the entire path to financial freedom in one course and give it away. And last year we had 50,000 people from 91 countries on the course. And that's kind of what we enjoy doing, is helping people with their finances. That's how we fill our time in retirement.
I mean, that number is really staggering, 50,000 people. But, you know, I'm thinking about if I started an online course, I bet you thought 135 was really good.
Yeah. And you should have seen how nervous I was speaking in front of that many people. And the course has evolved so much. That was 6 years ago, and we're about to run the 2026 course. I was so nervous when we did that first course, and I was like, what am I going to say? What are people going to think? And my fluency has improved a lot. My way of explaining things has improved a lot, but we're always looking to improve, and we always try and make improvements to each course and keep innovating as well.
That's amazing. I know that you guys have made a huge impact on a lot of people. So in your own words, what does giving mean to you, and why does giving matter so much to you?
I think there's a few reasons that giving matters to me. And to me, so there's many ways you can give. You can give money, you can give time, you can give support. There's many things you can give. In our experience, when we've helped individuals with money, it's never worked. It's failed. It causes discomfort in the relationship. People go disappearing because they maybe can't pay you back.
Oh, you mean if we've given people money directly?
Yes.
Yeah, rather than trying to educate them about money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's failed. It hasn't helped. Whereas if we show people how they can fix their own finances and they actually do it, it creates a massive change in their confidence, their finances and everything else. And we we learnt these skills ourselves to improve our financial situation. My dad went bankrupt for, in today's money, nearly £10 million, lost the
Wow.
family home, left us trying to fight the bank to keep the family home, the roof over me and my brother and my mum's heads. And we were in a mess. And I had to learn this stuff to improve my financial situation and to sort my time out. And it's had such a powerful impact on our lives that you go, well, I need to share this with everyone. Why doesn't everyone know this stuff? Come here, let me tell you everything
Yeah.
about personal finances.
We've become almost, well, not almost, we've become evangelical about it because we've seen the impact it's had on our lives and other people that have implemented these skills, tools, knowledge. So we're like, everyone needs to know this. We want to help as many people as we can. And that's why we're so passionate. So it makes it easy to give because we're like, people need this. People need that help.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. And was there a particular moment or person or experience that sort of drove you to start giving back?
For me, 100%. I was 20 years old. I was working in the family business when my parents were getting divorced. You do not want to work in the family business when your parents are getting divorced. It's not good. So I crashed out of that. My job went, my family was falling to pieces, and I went to my girlfriend and said, I need to escape. Do you want to come traveling? And she just said, I don't love you, and broke up with me. So my entire world collapsed. And at that exact moment, a guy called Matt gave me a book. It was called Notes from a Friend. And he basically looked at me and went, your life's a mess. You need this.
Wow. That's a
Which
good
was
friend.
nice. And I did feel like, yeah, you're probably right.
And most people wouldn't say anything or do anything or know how to help, especially at such a young age when you were both in your
He was
early 20s.
slightly older than me.
Oh,
He was
okay.
like 30 something.
Okay.
You know, wise 30-year-old. When you're 20, everyone seems older. And that book, I read it cover to cover. It taught me how to set goals, how to focus on the future. It changed my life. And then I started going, well, if that book can change my life, I wonder what else can. And it sent me on a self-development journey through books, courses, information, collecting all the skills I could, which every book I read helped me to achieve something more in my life. And eventually you go, well, why doesn't everyone know this? I must start sharing it. I must start sharing what I've learnt. And it felt like an imperative to share all the things I've learned. And that was the trigger for me, was someone giving me information and advice through a book that changed my life.
It's really interesting because there's some interesting studies that, like, in the West, if we want to make ourselves feel better, we often will think, oh, I'll go treat myself to something. I'm going to go buy something. I'm going to go eat a nice meal, whatever it is. But what studies actually show is that you'd be much better off spending that money on someone else because it makes you feel a lot better than doing it for yourself for a lot longer. So I'm not saying that giving has to always be about money, but what I am saying is sometimes we're not really clear on what's going to actually make us feel happy. And actually giving seems to have a really big well-being benefit, not just for the person that we're helping, but for ourselves too.
Yeah, I kind of believe that money is the least valuable thing I can give. The knowledge is worth far more than the money ever is. So if I give my time, my knowledge, that has a bigger impact than the cash will.
Money's a one-off sugar hit for the person that you're giving the money to, and it doesn't normally fix any of the underlying problems as to why and how they needed that money in the first place. And of course, there's emergencies and things that come up, but generally speaking, it doesn't help in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, in terms of what you get out of it for yourselves, is there something in particular that keeps you motivated to keep showing up and doing this course? Because you could just, swan off and, I think you said last time, drink margaritas on a beach all the time. But like, what keeps you coming back and doing this every year and trying to learn and grow and improve?
Oh,
Yeah.
so much stuff. The first thing that comes to mind is how fun it is to do this, and the community that we've built, and the people that come back, and the same faces, and you have like running jokes as we're doing the course. So it's fun to do. It makes us feel, well, I'll speak for myself. It makes me feel alive, and I've got a purpose, and having something that we're building, that's so rewarding. And then you get the messages of people that explain how they've taken the information we've given them, implemented it in their own lives, and the impact that it's had, and how they've changed different areas of their lives. The ones that are the most rewarding and touching for me is they say, well, yes, we've implemented money changes and we're much more secure and we know where we're going, we have a plan. And me and my partner and my family, we're all on the same page now, and it's brought us closer together. Our relationship is stronger. We have this shared vision and we're excited about the future. Getting those messages is so inspiring for me, and I'm like, okay, what more can we give? What more resources can we make to help people? And then it's this virtuous cycle that we get positive feedback from what we put out to the world and want to give more. And I also get to be creative, so I can create charts and tools and PowerPoint presentations, and it's just so rewarding to be able to give those as well, because it's using the skills that I've developed. And I'm not just in isolation making my own chart to look at. It's like, oh, I can share this and it has an impact on people.
Yeah.
Every human has a need to feel like they're growing, learning, developing, improving, and contributing, that they're valuable to the people around them, to society. And I'm sure the pharmacists get a huge amount of reward out of helping other people as well.
Yeah.
And they do that in their day-to-day work. And they're learning what works, they're contributing to other people. It's such an incredible buzz when you can do that.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And, when I was looking at the research around giving, we've been doing some work on this at the charity. And interestingly, acts of generosity, and not just generosity with money, but as you say, time, knowledge, just helping someone out, it actually lowers levels of stress and depression and gives people feelings of greater emotional resilience. And I wonder, have you experienced that yourselves? Not that I'm saying you're stressed and depressed beforehand, but like, would you say it helps your mental health as well?
Yes, definitely. When you're focused on yourself and your own problems and your own struggles and stresses, then you can get kind of stuck in that spiral. Whereas focusing on other people, like you said, I have anecdotal evidence to agree with what the study said, that, I feel better when I'm helping, when I'm building something that's is not about me, it's about broader than that.
And I've always found that if you feel down, if you're not feeling good, one of the quickest ways out of it is to find someone else to help. It's way easier to help someone else with their problems than it is to help you with your problems. And what I've tend to have found is the support, advice, and knowledge you give to the other person is quite often what you need yourself. So through the act of giving, you actually end up helping yourself and making progress and going, oh, I should really do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you just said it's easier to figure out how to help someone else than how to help yourself. But ironically, by doing that, you are helping yourself. So it's a nice, it kind of comes full circle. It's a nice way of thinking about living your life. So a lot of our listeners are pharmacist trainees and pharmacy students. And a lot of them already, as you just identified, spend their working lives giving a lot to other people. For them, giving might need to be on a smaller scale compared to what you guys do, because they probably are working full time and maybe have families and all of that. But before you retired, when you were working, were you already giving and volunteering, or was this something you started doing once you didn't have to go to work anymore?
For me, I think you can get paid to help other people.
Yeah.
So when I learned about self-development and different things, I was a very shy child. I know that probably doesn't sound like I was, but I couldn't talk to strangers. I felt nervous talking to other people. And I learned about confidence, how to build it, character, all those different subjects. And it changed my life. And that's when I became evangelical about telling other people about it. And I actually started running courses and training other people how to do it. And I earned money helping other people. And then
Okay.
that expanded to, oh, if I'm going to run a training course, I should probably learn how to present. So I learned how to present, how to communicate.
Yeah.
I did some stand-up comedy. Then I started teaching other people how to present, how to talk, how on stage, how to deliver jokes. I always used to love, for 10 years, I helped Microsoft with a course called Coaching for Presence. And one of the main pieces I did was I took Microsoft engineers and helped them to write a joke that they delivered that got a laugh. And my thesis was, if an engineer who doesn't think they're funny and really doesn't want to tell a joke can write one themselves and make someone laugh, then they can prove to themselves they can do anything. And
Yeah.
that mini section of that workshop gave so many people confidence that it inspired people to go out there and do more. So for me,
Yeah.
I think you can give in so many different ways. You can support the person next to you. You can look after your kids. You can coach them. You can find a random stranger on the street. There's so many ways to do it, even at work, when you're mentoring someone who's just starting and you help them deal with this new job, this new world that they've got to learn. Even just doing that will change your perspective and help them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And I think that's really encouraging. You know, we're not saying to people, you need to earn all your money and retire early, and then you can start helping people. Like they can be doing this all the way through, right? And they're probably already doing it in their everyday life, but it might be, you know, someone comes into the pharmacy and they look distressed, and you take a minute to check in and, you know, see if there's anything that you can do to help. Just be a kind person. I was walking to work and I stopped to get a coffee, and the fella in front of me just reached over and paid for it on the tappy device. And I was so surprised, and I thought, oh, that was really kind. And he said, oh, I just, every time I go out, I decide to do something nice for someone else. And, you know, there's good research about how that ripples out. So of course I thought, well, I didn't really need him to buy me that coffee. So I went out and I found someone who needed a coffee bought for them, and I got that person a coffee. And I think that it does cause ripples out when people do kind things. So it's really nice to think about, you're not just helping one person, but there's research that shows that there's usually like 3 degrees of separation. So you help one person, that person helps other people, those people help others again. And it can grow exponentially. I think we see that a lot on social media.
Yes. And you can even just reframe what you're already doing as giving. Like you said,
Yeah.
pharmacists are helping people, individuals, day in, day out. Just to reframe that as I'm giving my time, my help, my empathy, just to reframe it in their head's going to make them feel a lot better.
I'm contributing to the people around me.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if there are listeners who are interested in volunteering or giving, but might be unsure where to start, do you have any tips? For example, like, would you start with reflecting on values, or would you start with doing something that is easy in your life? Like, what would you say to someone who just was thinking that they wanted to start giving back?
I would say start where you are. So start with the people around you at home. Ask them what's going on with them, what they're experiencing, what their life's like. Listen to them. Just listening to someone in such a busy world with so much craziness going on, just taking a moment to listen to someone about what's going on with them will have a huge impact on the people around you. So I think this idea of grand big gestures doesn't have to be. We can just
Yeah.
literally start where we are and start small. Start with the people around you at work, start with the people around you in your life. And then if you want to, then you can start to go, okay, I can step outside of that. And there are a million opportunities to volunteer and to support people. You could Google or put into AI chat, how do I volunteer my time in my local community? And I guarantee it will give you 50 ideas of ways you can support people that are in line with what you enjoy.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy working in the gardens, then go and work in the gardens and make the local area beautiful. If you enjoy coaching other people, then you can do that. We enjoy helping people with their finances because we got good at it. So we just do that. And I think we sometimes make it more of a thing in our head than it needs to be, whereas we
Yeah.
can just start doing something small and it builds.
Yeah, you don't need to ask for permission. Like we didn't ask for permission to put this course on. We just did it. And if you can see something or a problem that needs fixing, just do it. And I think as well, you said, Alan, that, start where you are, start small with the people around you. And as Melissa said, the ripple effect that even that has, because they'll start to feel happier and heard and want to pass on that feeling to other people as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good advice for anyone who's thinking, oh, right, okay, I want to get started. And with Rebel Finance School, there's clearly a lot of interest. You give away your time and your expertise for free. What made you decide to make it free when you, in theory, probably could have charged for it and made money out of it?
There is a simple equation to know how much money is enough for you to live for the rest of your life. And
Yeah.
that simple equation is 25 times your annual spending. If you have 25 times your annual spending saved up or invested in a simple index fund, you never need money again. And we got to the point where we said we have enough. So why charge? Why not give it back? Why not help people? And I had this idea of democratizing information. So many different educational institutions will cost you a fortune
Yeah.
to be able to get information. And then there's a societal belief that you can only get ahead if you're wealthy. The secrets are kept for wealthy people. If you've got money, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. All of those different societal beliefs start to come out. And we wanted to smash those. The information or the support should be democratized and available to everyone. And I've had people help me through my life. So then you go, well, I just want to pay that forwards and help other people, because financial knowledge should not be hidden behind a paywall.
You make that sound very simple, and it is. And that link of saying, well, we have enough and we don't need to charge and we can donate our time and energy is not a natural leap for most people.
No, it's keep on earning because of fear and scarcity.
I think we just wanted, yeah, as Alan said, want to make it accessible to anyone and everyone that wants this information.
Yeah. And I think it is really inspiring what you just said, Alan, because I think a lot of us are socialized to just keep going and get more and more. And you get some, but it's never enough because you need the next. You've got 1 million, you need to get the next million. You get 2, you think, well, I want to get to 5, but you don't actually need it. But I think that this is the way that a lot of people, a lot of us are thinking. So it's really nice to see that you've just decided to step sideways out of that and think, no, we don't have to do that. We can be happy and comfortable and give back. And I find it really interesting that you didn't just do the course once and put it out there and say, okay, we've done it. We've given back. We put the course out there. Now we can just drink margaritas on the beach forever. You go back and you do it every year and you try to improve it and you want to reach more people. So it's clear that this isn't just a one-off for you, that this is something you really like care passionately about continuing to do as well.
Why stop doing something that feels good?
Yeah.
Why stop doing something that gives you a feeling of contribution, of growth, of variety, of feeling alive when you're running the courses? There is nothing like staring into the webcam and knowing there are 5,000 people waiting for you live. That will make you feel alive, and it gives us so much. And I think it is okay to have a selfish reason for giving. Mm-hmm. If it feels good, do more of it.
Yeah, that's great. So we couldn't get you here without talking about the launch of Rebel Finance 2026, which is coming soon. And we're going to be hosting it on our Wellbeing Learning platform. So it's really easy for pharmacists to get to if they prefer to access it that way. But I thought it might be nice to ask you just a couple questions about the upcoming course. Awesome. So for anyone who hasn't done it before, what is Rebel Finance School 2026? How does it work? That kind of thing. Yeah. Any information you want to give us?
So the aim of the course is to take you from confusion and perhaps a little bit disorganized, not knowing where you are, to clarity, knowing where your money goes, having a plan for the future. And we do that by delivering a 10-week free course. So each of the weeks of the course start right from the very beginning and lead you all the way to the idea of this financial freedom, that you don't have to work if you don't want to. And a lot of people choose to work and choose to continue to be a pharmacist because they love it.
Yeah, and at the moment in the UK, there's something like 15 million people that are heading towards poverty in retirement. Because they're not saving enough, they're not investing enough, they've not invested in good funds, they've not looked after their financial future. So we're trying to reach those people and help them to see they could have a far brighter financial future. So it's a genuine problem and need in the UK and globally.
Yeah. I was just reading about that today, that there is a crisis looming amongst people who will be coming up for retirement. So it sounds like this might be for younger people who are getting a head start and maybe they can retire early, but it also sounds like it would be for people who are much later down the path and realize like, oops, I didn't do this when I was 20. Now I'm 50. Like, what can I do? Would you say it would be impactful for that person as well?
Oh, absolutely. The steps to getting in control of your money and working towards the future are the same regardless of your age. And if you're 50, you've got heaps of time to get it, to be able to make improvements. If you're 75, 80, you still can improve your situation. You can look at, if you already have money invested, how to make that more optimal. You can look at where your money's going to know, am I getting value from where this money is going? Like, there's so much to do at any age. And as I said, the steps are the same regardless.
It's better if you start earlier. I would ideally love to reach every pharmacist who's 20 and get them to fix their finances, sort their pension out, set them up for life. However, it tends to be people who are, in quotations, waking up in their 40s and 50s to, oh, shoot, retirement's coming around the corner. I ought to probably get on top of this. And that tends to be the audience we actually help, is 70% women, female, and between 40 and 60 years old. And those are the people who are going, oh, I really need to tackle this now. I really need to get on top of it. It works perfectly for 20-year-olds because they have time for compounding to work for them. And I would love to strap every 20-year-old to a chair and force them to watch it. But they're sometimes having fun out there rather than thinking about their pension, which we maybe will change one day.
Yeah. And so I just got interested as you were talking. Do you know how old your youngest listener has been and how old your oldest listener has been?
We have parents that bring their kids along. So we've had teenagers do the course.
Okay. Do you remember the teenager in New Zealand who had done the course? She had a job in the local shop, and I think it was about 14 or 15,000 New Zealand dollars she She'd earned from the shop, invested it, it had grown, and she had about $14,000 or $15,000 as a 14-year-old. And that's a huge amount of money at that age.
At any age.
Yeah, and we did a tour of the UK last year and went around all sorts of places. Some people brought their babies with them. They were definitely the youngest people who came to one of our events. And then we have 75, 80-year-olds who are trying to optimize their pensions and tweak to get a little bit more out of their retirement funds.
Right. So it sounds like it's a really inclusive course. Yeah. Okay. And what kind of feedback do you get from people who take the course?
The word that comes up time and time again is life-changing. That's the word that comes up, which people think, how can a spreadsheet in a finance course be life-changing? But it gives you confidence that you know your numbers. It gives you a target to aim for. It shows you when enough is enough. It decodes the incredibly complex world of investing and makes it simple for anyone to be able to do it.
And we do it in a fun, positive, encouraging, non-judgmental way that makes people keep wanting to come back. And we do this 10-week course on a Monday night. We film it live, stream it live, and then anyone can catch up at any point whenever they want to. But people get to the end of the course and go, what am I going to do on a Monday night? I'm going to miss you. And like that, people find that feeling very unusual, having thought, you know, the finance is meant to be dry, boring. You're meant to bang your head against the wall and figure it out on your own. No, we're building this community of people that can figure it out together and have fun doing it.
I always remember in the very first year, or maybe it was the second or third year, there was this guy posted in the Facebook community, the Rebel Finance School Facebook community, and he said, 10-week course seems way too long. Do I have to do it all? And he got lots of comments from people who'd done the course saying, yeah, do it, you'll enjoy it. And then by the end of the course, he posted back saying, I was the one who said this was way too long and I was a bit down on the course and now I miss it and I loved it. And seeing that change over that period just lights us up.
It is a big time commitment. It is a commitment. It's something that if you want something to change in your life, you need to work at it. And it's no silver bullet. It's just doing the work. But we make it fun and we guide you every step of the way as to what to do. And it does take time and it does take repetition and reinforcement. And that's one reason why we have it over that time period, to influence people and to start to shift their mindset. So it is a commitment is involved, but you don't get anything in life without putting effort in.
Yeah, your personal finances will not improve by doing nothing.
Yeah. Have you had any feedback in particular that struck you, stayed with you, something that someone said changed their life?
There was one.
You go.
There was one last year that said that they thought that they would be working until their 70s. They'd never been interested in personal finance before. And now they wake up in the middle of the night excited about the power of the stock market, realize that they can retire in their 50s. So that's brought them 20 years back of their life to be able to do passion project. They mentioned that they wanted to do a PhD and study and do all sorts of things. They've brought back 20 years of their life to be able to do something that they're passionate about. And that one stands out a lot.
Which is why we keep repeating, buy your freedom first. If you're going to do anything in life, buy your freedom so that you can spend that time however you want to. Passion projects, family, loved ones, traveling, helping, contributing, giving. Time is the only resource we all are limited by.
And this is not about deprivation of waiting until that time to enjoy your life. It's enjoying it along the way and just being more intentional with your money.
Yeah, that's really powerful stuff. So I know that you polled people who took the course last year, and based on their feedback, are there any changes that you're making for next year? Well, for this year?
We had 1,700 plus feedback forms, people telling us what happened, what went well. And the biggest thing they wanted was extra help on the practical implementation of what's in the course. So what button do I actually click when I'm selecting the index fund to invest? How do I actually set up the spreadsheet to track my stuff? So this year we've got a Monday session to teach the theory, and we've got a Thursday session where we actually sit with you and you can start doing it. So fill out the spreadsheet, do it with us. If you've got questions, we have a whole team of volunteers that help us run the course. We call them the Rebel Finance School Ninjas, and they answer questions and tirelessly support people through the course, which is just phenomenal. And they're past participants who go, I want to help other people. This changed my life. So that's the big change. Is the Monday is the theory, the idea, the concept, and the Thursday is let's actually do this in your life so it's working before you leave.
Oh, it's amazing. And so having done this for several years and seeing so many people coming through, do you see any do you see any consistency in what people struggle with? What might be the challenges they need to overcome? And do you have any words of wisdom to help people on our podcast to maybe think about that and how they might be able to move through it a bit?
The biggest challenge people need to overcome is the belief that it's possible for them to improve their finances.
Because they keep repeating the rich get rich, the poor get poorer. Realistically, chances are I'll never be wealthy. And they repeat those beliefs that are handed down by the generations, and then they trap themselves. So if we can just open up for a moment people's belief that maybe I can improve my finances, then they're willing to have a go and they'll see the results over a period. That's the biggest challenge to start with every year, is just opening people up. But we're starting to get the weight of people that have done the course that tell people for us.
Yeah, that's one way of changing that belief, is seeing people that have done it in a similar situation as they are starting from.
Yeah, that's really powerful. So as we look at the connection between money, well-being, and giving, and I think there is a connection because, as you said before, when you have your own needs taken care of, you kind of feel maybe freer to give back. You perhaps don't feel as constrained by circumstances. But if you could leave our listeners with one takeaway about the link between money, well-being, and giving, what would it be?
It is to know when enough is enough. If you can know deep within you that you have enough money, you know you're looked after, you'll know you'll be good in the future, then suddenly you don't have to worry about yourself as much. And you can start considering other people and doing other things. So to me, what we're trying to do is inspire people to look after themselves first. If you've slept well, you've eaten well, you've got a roof over your head and you're financially stable, all of a sudden it's a lot easier to be a positive person in the community if you've looked after yourself. So to everyone listening to this, please look after yourself for us.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful. Well, Alan and Katie, thank you so much for these insights today. I think it's going to inspire a lot of people to take your course. I think it's going to inspire a lot of people to think about, what is enough for me? What can I give back? How can I make a difference for other people? We're so pleased to be partnering with you guys and with Rebel Finance School again. We really believe in the message that you are giving and the difference you're making in people's lives. So thank you so much. And pharmacists, students, and trainees, go to our Wellbeing Learning platform. You can sign up for free and you can find everything housed there if you want to take the course through the platform. I think people can also take it live with you. If they go to your website, they can find out ways to do that. So there's more than one way to make this happen. So we always hope our listeners are feeling inspired to bring about positive changes in their own lives. If today's podcast has resonated with you, you'll find further well-being information, videos, and online content content on our website and on our Wellbeing Learning platform. It's available to pharmacists, pharmacy students, and trainees for free. For further information about our support services, please click on the How We Can Help link in the podcast description, and don't hesitate to reach out if you feel you may need support. We want to continue providing our free and confidential support services and to open up conversations like this to ensure no one in our pharmacy family faces challenging times alone. As an independent charity, we rely on donations from individuals and organizations across the profession to enable us to do this. So if you're in a position to do so, please consider making a donation today. You can find a QR code at the end of the video or in a link in the show's description. Donations help us to provide our essential services, including our counseling service, peer support, financial assistance, and much more. Alan and Katie, thank you again. Thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again on our next podcast.
Thanks,
Melissa.